Hello, Titanic fans. Are there such things as fans of a sunken ship that killed 1,500 people? I don't know. It's not good. But obviously, we know this ship from the movies and books and songs and all that stuff. So we have this model company called Meng, or some people say Meng. I'm not sure how the Chinese pronounce it, but I'm going to go with Meng myself. And I built a bunch of their World War II's tanks, and I've been building some Fujimi deformed model ships, and so I thought I ran across this thing. It's a deformed version of the historic ship itself. As you can see, it's quite short, and it's a snap fit. No need for glue. Supposedly, we'll have to find out at the end, though. There are pre-colored parts, like a Bandai model kit, and this is the first in their line, 001. And here we have a little blurb. Boy, let's see if I can hold that, hit focus, so you can pause and read that. But from what I see, it's the longest ship in history, 269 meters long. Maybe longest commercial ship. I don't know if modern aircraft carriers are longer than that. Don't know. Anyways, but the thing sank only 4 days after its launch. Silliness. We know that. Well, watch the movie. This model kit came out in 2021, and I guess that's the parent company of Meng or Meng. And looking good. I also got a wooden deck for it, so we'll have to see if this works out well. It's just laser cut wood, we'll have to see. It's going to add thickness to it, though. Let me just open this up while we're at it. Oh, it's quite thin, though. I would say it's a millimeter or less. I think it's less than a millimeter. We'll have to see how much that ends up covering. You see all these holes? It's because other stuff is going to come through those holes. So we'll make those vanish, those features, or not. Let's just see how these plastics are. The tank plastics are pretty good. So I very often don't even repaint the tanks. I just give them a wash. The problem with this boat is it was brand new. It wasn't weathered ever in real life, so it should look very new. It shouldn't look old. Interesting. A little Chinese lottery or something. I'm not sure why they have to wrap the instructions, but there is a decal sheet. Maybe that's why. I don't know what the white part is. Maybe it says Titanic. It probably goes on the side of the hull. Alright, so let's see. There we go. So there are the parts you should have. And you just gotta read some letters and look at the arrows. It's in English, Chinese, and Russian. Okay, so pretty straightforward. And yeah, the decals, you just have 3 of them. 2 whites for the sides and 1 in the back. Alright. Now let's check these plastics out. Now this is kind of weird that they're all just like in one bag scratching each other. Well, I guess you're not going to see any of that. Look at the hull, let's see. Oh boy, see? Now that's why Bandai wraps their sprues in different bags. The things scratch each other and shipping and all that. So, yeah, this thing's kind of messy. I'm not sure if I'm going to repaint it. You can see the rudder is just molded in, but it's going to need a propeller. I'm not sure what those would be for, probably 2 or engines maybe. Oh, well, look at this. The engine thing, the propeller thing totally broke off, totally stress marked out. So yeah, this is not packaged well at all. 3 propellers. What's even more concerning is where is that red part? Look at this. I don't even think I can make this kit because the red part is missing. Oh boy. We'll have to see what happens. Alright, so it was a nice quick build, mainly because I didn't care about it anymore, because that whole propeller piece is missing, right? So not much enthusiasm to make this model. If it had been there, I would say this is a great model kit. It was very easy to put together. It's lacking some details, the tops of the rescue, or I guess are they called rescue boats? Because they leave the thing, so not really rescuing. Well, whatever they are, lifeboats, that's what they're called. They're just flat, so that's kind of a lame detail. I put some black Tamiya panel liner in there for the windows, and I used an eraser to actually get rid of the dry stuff after that was sloppy. I guess another issue is these are not water slide decals, these are actually stickers. The problem is they molded in this ribbing, as you can see here. Hopefully you can see how there's ribs. You know what? I gotta turn that light off. Maybe that's throwing it off. Yeah, there's all these ribs here, and so the sticker goes over that rib, and there's a big air pocket. The side isn't too bad. You'll notice the side, this is smooth here, but then it's like rough here. For some reason, they have this patch rough, but the instructions are saying the Titanic should actually be around here. Ideally, they would have just skipped one of these ribs and had the thing smooth, and then this sticker would have been smoothly applied and not have this white air showing behind it. The worst is the back one, though, because there's a couple ribs and the actual Titanic is taller than this segment here, so you can just see it's kind of crossed over this rib here, down here. And so, yeah, I kind of wish they either gave you water slide decals or accommodated a smoother surface here and a bigger one, so this sticker wouldn't look so airy. It just looks foggy because there's air behind it. Now, the wood thing, this wood is so thin. What I showed you earlier actually had a paper backing because this wood has a sticker. The sticker is nice and all. I don't think it's gonna fall off anytime soon. The adhesive is very strong. The problem is the wood is so thin, and then they also rastered all these panels on there. So peeling off the backing of the sticker very often tore the wood because it's very thin where you can see the lines here. In fact, back here there's supposed to be a bunch of parallel lines, just like the deck boards here, but it was so it just falls apart. Hopefully you can see here. Here's the paper backing, and every time I try to pull the thing off, you can see the segments of wood. It's not one piece of wood because they etched away, they rastered away the panels. So be mindful of that. You gotta be very careful, and I would actually probably recommend you cut the pieces up even more. Like I cut this one. This was all one piece, but I cut it right here, and I still tore it somewhere around here. But luckily, you can just get the pieces that tore and put them back down. One thing that's kind of lazy about this wood thing, I think, is the fact that these four little subdecks here are still white. There's no wood to cover them. I'm not sure if the real Titanic had just steel decks here. I kind of doubt it. You can clearly see there's stairs going up here and some sort of observation deck. So I'm not sure why they just totally skipped those four things. They could have easily had it just a slightly bigger piece of wood, and that thing would have looked a lot cooler. Possibly even have more here, right? Yeah, they could have had some wood decking here, and maybe even there and there and there. So yeah, they were kind of lazy, that company that made this wood deck. But I don't think there's another brand doing it. So be mindful. This fourth smokestack has a separate shape to it. It's got a blocked off section because I think I saw in another review that this actually wasn't a functional smokestack. So that's why it has like this going on. So yeah, I guess that's it. Everything else fit pretty nice. I didn't use the only glue I used was to put these four black pieces on. They were quite loose in these yellow smokestacks, so that's the only place I've used glue. Everything else is a nice tight friction fit. Oh, I did glue the propellers on as well. They were a tight fit, but they're so small, I know if I knock them off, I'll never find them again. Okay, so yeah, that's what's going on. It's quite a shame. But let's look at a couple other boats here. So the Fujimi boats I mentioned at the start. This is a Issei battleship, and you can see that. And then here's the Kaga aircraft carrier, which I believe is built on a battleship. And so I was really afraid this was going to be a very large, overscale kind of model, even though they're all deformed. But I think it actually fits in very well with these Fujimis, because if this was one of the longest ships ever made, it actually might prove to be a little small compared to this aircraft carrier. And then the height of this aircraft carrier and the height of this deck, they're pretty similar, so I think that makes a lot of sense. Here you get a much better sense of the height, So I think it fits in very well, and I'm very happy that was the case. Alrighty, so I'm gonna actually write that email that I saw in the instruction books to see if they can send me that extra part. If they did, I'd be much more happy, of course. I'm not gonna buy this model kit again. If I have to, I'll just pose it on one side. But one thing I would really like to see Meng do is to make military boats. Like these Fujimis that I showed earlier, these things, they're only for the Imperial Japanese Navy. But if I know that Meng makes American airplanes that are tuned, they make American tanks that are tuned. I would love to see like the USS Enterprise aircraft carrier tuned out to the same scale as those Fujimis, and then the battleship Iowa, and even the German Bismarck or the British Hood. There's a lot of cool historical ships that could be done. So hopefully Meng will do those, because they don't seem to be afraid of doing international vehicles. Alright, well, thanks for watching today, and we'll see you in the next tuned boat video. Bye. Jack. Rose. Jack. Whatever.